Hi, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Erica. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. I would love to have you subscribe, like, comment, and if you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to just sit down and show you guys some of my absolute favorite silver shimmers, say that 20 times fast, that I have in my collection. I did this a few videos back. I got out my gold palettes and showed you some of my absolute favorite gold shimmers, and I thought it would be really fun to do it with my silvers as well. I am a huge cool tone shadow fan, and so this just makes me so happy. So if you're interested to see these shades, see me swatch a few, look at the palettes, talk about them, then please sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, so the first palette I wanted to show you guys is the Blueberry Muffin palette from BH Cosmetics. This is one of my absolute favorite BH palettes. I just love it so much. I love the color story. It's got some neutral options, but some beautiful pops of kind of blue, purple, periwinkle, and to me, this is a Blueberry Muffin in a palette. This is the type of palette that I got started with when I was starting to introduce more color into my eye looks, because it kind of made me feel safer that there were some neutral options as well. So if you're a little bit nervous about color, but want to play with them and give it a try, this is the perfect type of palette to do that with. The shadow that I wanted to focus on in this palette is the Hot and Fresh shade, this kind of light silver down in the corner. It's gorgeous. I'm going to swatch it for you. Look at that. It's gorgeous. This is just a nice, light, bright silver shade. It's almost got maybe a little bit of that kind of periwinkle blue undertone to it. And I just think it complements the palette so well. I highly recommend picking up that palette if it's still available. I probably should have checked before I opened my big fat mouth, but I think it is. So if it is, I highly recommend that palette. The formula is amazing. The next palette I wanted to show is the Badass Beauties Cosmetics Field Op palette. Now this one I just used in my last video, and I love this palette. I love the color story. It's a grungy dream for me. Those are my favorite kind of palettes. And the shadow that I love in this palette is Silver Bullet. I used that in my first look that I created in that video, and I just loved how it looked on the lid. And the texture of these shimmers are so nice. They have that kind of like sticky adhering texture that I just love. There's not a lot of fallout. It just sticks to the lid so beautifully. So that's this one here. This was obviously darker than the one above it from the BH Cosmetics palette. But yeah, I think this is just a beautiful silver, and it looked really nice with the green shade that I pulled from that palette to use in that look, but I think it would go well with any of the shades in there. So yeah, love that silver shimmer. The next one I'm going to show you is this one. This is the Milani Smokey Essentials palette. I got this from, I think, TJ Maxx for just a couple dollars. I got several of these actually. And these have a really nice formula. The mattes blend beautifully. The shimmers are maybe a little bit, I don't know, tamer than some of the other ones I'm going to show you. But they have a really nice soft sheen when you put them on your lid, and I really enjoy them. So let's swatch this. This has a little bit of a blue undertone to it, and I just think it's gorgeous, and I love Milani. Milani is probably my favorite drugstore brand if I had to pick one. So yeah, so there's that, and I just think it's really pretty. Like I said, it's not as maybe bright and shiny as this one up here, but I think it does the job, and it's just kind of a softer, I got a softer sheen to it that I enjoy. All right, so the next one is the 35C Everyday Chic palette from Morphe. This is a large palette. It's got a large color story, but I just love this palette, especially this row here. It's got those kind of dark, grungy colors that I love. And the shadow that I wanted to focus on in this palette is this one right here. This is such a beautiful silver shimmer. I'm going to swatch that too. I mean, hello. It's gorgeous. So here is this one. And this one is a little bit, I don't know, lighter obviously than these two. So I would say that it's a pretty like, bright silver shade, but I really enjoy using this. I love that palette. It's got a beautiful formula. I know not everybody loves Morphe, but I have always really enjoyed using their palettes. So I figured I would include it in this video as well. Okay, so this is the Spotlight palette from Ucanbe. I got this off Amazon. This was like, I think $11 or $13 in that price range. And I am so impressed by this brand. These palettes are very affordable, and I don't really hear a lot of people talking about them, but The formula of the mattes and of the shimmers in these palettes, I have a few Ucanbe palettes. I love them. They're amazing. So this is the shimmer that I wanted to focus on in this palette. This is kind of a lavender base to it, but it does have a silver sheen as well. Oops. And it just kind of depends on the lighting and like which direction you're looking. Like you look this way, it's silver. You look this way, it's lavender. So I love those kind of shades. I'll swatch that right here. And it definitely does have a lavender shift to it. But I think it's really pretty. And yeah, I really enjoy that palette. I just think it's such a great rainbow palette, and it's really inexpensive. So I was thrilled when I picked, I mean, I had no idea what I was going to be getting when I got that palette, and it absolutely impressed me so much. I love that Ucanbe Spotlight palette. All right, let's move on. The next one is the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. I love this palette. It's got so many beautiful colors in it. I have created a wide variety of looks, and that's something that I really love about larger palettes. I know they're not everybody's favorites, but I really enjoy them because, like I said, you can just do whatever you want, and it's really fun. And this is the silver shimmer that I wanted to focus on in this palette. I'll go ahead and swatch that too. This is a pretty medium toned silver, and it's pretty bright and vibrant, which I like. Yeah, I think that looks really pretty. Now, that really makes that lavender shade stick out from the Spotlight palette. But yeah, I just love that silver. It's so pretty. I'm going to get a little bit more of that. Put that on top of there. Yeah, that's a really nice, it's kind of got almost a little bit of a pewter shift to it too. But yeah, isn't this fun? It's so cool to see like the different variations in silver shimmers. I love it. Okay, and then the next palette I'm going to show you is one of my absolute all-time favorite Colourpop palettes ever made. This is the Stone Cold Fox. I am so madly in love with this palette. I'm so glad I got it. It's got a beautiful mix of cool tones and, you know, some might say warm tones as well. But I just love playing with this. When I first got it, I typically will rotate palettes in and out of my daily life, use something different every day. And when I got this, I think I used it for at least a week straight because I just love the formula. I love the shades. That was so fun to create looks with. And this is the silver shimmer that I'm going to be swatching from this. This is the, let's see, Magnetic Moon. I think that's such a cool shade name. So let's go ahead and swatch that as well. This is just gorgeous. So I'm going to swatch this here. This is definitely a true silver shimmer. I mean, hello. And I just love it. I love all of the shades in that palette. I mean, I know there's a lot and, you know, maybe a little bit of repetitive shades, but I don't care. I love that palette and I'm so glad I got it. If you're into cool tones and you don't have that, I highly recommend picking it up. Hopefully it's still available on the Colourpop website. The next palette I'm going to show you is this Revolution palette. This is called the Black Ice palette. I love the front of this. I think the design is super cool. And when you open this up, we have a couple different silver options. We have this one here that's pretty light. That's not my favorite though in this palette. And we have this kind of darker, well, that would be probably more gray than silver. But this one here, oh, I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch that too. And this has that same kind of sticky adhering texture that I just absolutely adore. So let's put this right here and look at that. Bam! I love that silver shimmer. It's so gorgeous. The mattes in that palette are really nice. I'll show it to you one more time. The mattes in this palette are really nice. And then the shimmers are great too. It's got this cool kind of black satin shade that I really enjoy using. I use that as a liner. I have yet to use that red. I need to use the red. But yeah, I just think this is a really cool color story and I love the formula of this palette. And the front of it's super cool. All right, now we're getting down to the last two. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, this is the Huda Beauty Smoky Obsessions palette. Now this one I got, I think either in an Ipsy or a BoxyCharm, I can't remember which one. And I think this would be perfect for travel, if we're ever able to travel again. So Steph, when I come to the UK, I'm bringing this with me. All right, so the silver shimmer, obviously, that has my heart in this palette is this shade right here. This has got such a cool texture to it. It's very buttery and smooth and I love it. It goes on the lid beautifully and it looks so nice. So here we go. And I think that is just delish, gorgeous. Let me get a little bit more on there. Again, not the best swatcher on the planet, you guys. But yeah, I think this is really pretty. Now, some of these are getting very similar, and I see that. I do see that. But I don't think you can have too many shadows of one color in your collection. That's just me. I think we should put that into law. But yeah, I think that is gorgeous too. Love that little palette. The black matte in there is so nice. And yeah, I've really enjoyed playing with that palette. Okay, we're on the last palette, This is the palette that I have on my eyes today. And this has my most absolute, hands down, favorite silver shimmer that I own in my collection. This is the Nabla Platinum Cutie palette. I love you. Sorry, get a room. This is the color story. It's a 6-pan palette, so it's not, you know, super overwhelming. I mean, you have kind of limited options here, but that's okay because this silver shimmer in the middle here, oh, I have that on my lid today. It's so wonderful. I mean, you put it on and it just kind of takes on a life of its own. So I'm definitely going to be swatching this as well. And it's got a very soft, almost kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, almost kind of like foily texture to it. And let's swatch that. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I just think that is so gorgeous, and I love using this palette. I got this palette from Angelica Lirimar. She talked about that palette on her channel, and she was raving about how great that silver shimmer was, and that was right when I was getting into my love for cool tones, so I got that and just went berserk when I got it. So yeah, that is the shade. That's on my eyelids, like I said. And I just think it's really fun to see the variations in silver shades. I mean, yeah, some of them are kind of similar, but I love them. And this is really fun to show you guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video with me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day or evening to sit down and watch my video. It means the absolute world to me. If you have subscribed or you'd like to subscribe, please do not forget to hit the notification bell. That way you're aware of all of my future uploads. And I should be seeing you soon in my next video. But in the meantime, please take care, be well, stay happy, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.